Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. So in recent headlines, there's been a lot of talk over the positive phase 3 trials by a few of the leading pharmaceutical companies that are trying to get their COVID vaccination into the market as soon as possible. We heard yesterday that the UK has become the first country to authorize a vaccination that was successfully tested by Pfizer. So things are looking up in that related field because some companies winning the race and making their headlines first from their glowing results might seem like the race is over for the vaccination, right? But, even if other companies manage to cross the finishing line, their tardiness would mean that they'd only be able to enjoy the scraps left over from the first companies to put out their vaccination. So is this actually true? Well, according to Johnson & Johnson, not really, because despite dismissals from skeptical investors who associate it with baby powder and tear-free shampoo, rather than cutting-edge technology in the pharmaceutical sector, there's a solid chance that this candidate might still make a lot of money from their vaccination should it arise in the next few months. Even though the company has made negative headlines over the course of the year with lawsuits opposed to them from potential asbestos and chemicals in their products, its coronavirus vaccine could have several edges over the competition. So firstly, easy dosage and storing facilities are the main topics that could lead the field for them. Johnson & Johnson has two vaccination trials in the works, one that tests a one-dose schedule and the newer trial testing 2 doses. Both of these trials use the same platform, which was recently used to approve the Ebola vaccine, which is very, very significant as well. Its one-dose trial preliminarily reported favourable results and safety at the end of October. So if everything goes according to plan, healthcare systems should start receiving their dosage and distributions in early 2021. So its vaccine will be able to be stored for 3 months at refrigerated temperature, which is a lot better than the Pfizer one, which needs to be stored below freezing levels up to minus 70 degrees Celsius, which is not something that every household can maintain. So it compares favorably with companies like Moderna and other pharmaceutical companies that are coming out with their own vaccinations soon. So it will also be a lot cheaper as well, which gives it a thumbs up. So one thing we do know heading into 2021 is the vaccination race and war will increase and be highly competitive. So the last time I looked at Johnson & Johnson, there was a choppy notion for most of the year as we went through the recovery of the pandemic. So what I've been looking at now is we had detrimental results over the last class action lawsuit, which was filed in October. We had a bit of an upsurge, but there's been this choppy wave going into a lot of the sessions. So let's just zoom in on the areas of interest like I usually do. So we had a bit of a false break at this level here, but since then this was tested at post first pandemic lows after the lockdowns, and now we've seen a bit of a buoyancy in the share price, but there is still that choppy notion going into a lot of the headlines. So what I'm looking at here is to see if the momentum can start lifting a bit more. We've had too much of the same, not really much of a divergence on any indicators at the moment. So I'm waiting for maybe another test at the top here to start pushing prices higher and seeing if we can get to these peaks that it has witnessed in the last few months to give it a bit more of a upturn in prices. So I'll be looking in the next few trading sessions if we can emerge from this engulfment on the Ichimoku cloud, and that will be my first test here, roughly about $150, and then moving higher. If it does break this area, then I'll be putting probably a buy stop in or a kind of pending buy order, so it can break higher to 153 and then possibly move up to the recent highs that we've seen. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, it's probably going to have a bit of an engulfment at the moment. If prices start falling and momentum starts waning as we go into the next few trading sessions, then I would expect that it will keep its choppy action going and probably fall back down to previous lows. So just a recap, if we can get through these peak resistance levels, then I don't see any reason why we can't go higher into the fresh highs that we've seen recently. Another stock I just want to look at on the European market is Bayer, because this pharmaceutical company has not really been in the headlines that much recently with any sort of vaccination news. It's, the big guns have taken over the market at the moment. So what I'll be looking at here is if we get some buoyancy on the vaccination, when it starts getting tested, and with the UK being the first country to have it approved from Pfizer, then we could see other European countries following suit, and this could boost the pharmaceutical stocks in general. So what I'll be looking at here is consolidating at the moment. I won't be looking too much into the long term for Bayer. I just wanted to look at if we can recap this lower area of the gap that it witnessed at the back end of September, where it had some detrimental falling prices. If we can get some cloud engulfment relapse, then it doesn't bode too badly against the stock price. So I'll be looking at the top border of the Ichimoku cloud as a breakaway, and then I'll be looking to see if it can recap this gap that we saw a couple of months ago. If not, then consolidation will look likely in the cloud for a few more sessions. So just something to look out on, as the pharmaceutical sector is taking a bit of a bumpy ride at the moment as we go into the back end of 2020 and we close out Q4. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments, please feel free to add them to the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.